There's a moment that happens in life when you're genuinely working on yourself, when you're trying to achieve something. I mean, when you're actually doing the work. You've been doing the right things. You've taken responsibility. You're more self-aware. You've cleaned up your bad habits. You've been disciplined longer than you ever have been before. But then you have a thought that creeps in your mind. And this is what it says. Why hasn't anything changed yet? Life still looks the same. And it still feels the same. And that's the moment where a lot of people exit the process. They don't understand what patience actually is. I've lived this phase more times than I can count. Doing everything right, feeling stronger internally, but looking around and nothing in my life has changed. I'm seeing the exact same life. Impatience, it doesn't show up as quitting. Impatience shows up as subtle resentment towards the process. We unconsciously believe that growth follows effort on a short timeline. Like, we expect cause and effect to be close together. 3 months of discipline and effort should equal a visible payoff, right? 6 months of structure should equal tangible momentum. A year of consistency should equal arrival. But identity change doesn't work like that. The nervous system updates slowly. Belief lags behind behavior. And then your environment, that responds last. So when external results don't match internal effort, the mind creates stories to justify the disappointment. This isn't working. I must be missing something. Other people figured it out already. Why am I still struggling? That's just your ego trying to regain control over uncertainty. We live in a world of constant subconscious loops. This particular one that we're talking about is you do the work, you don't see results fast enough, you start emotionally negotiating with the process, and then you loosen the standards you created, you look for shortcuts, or you just change the direction entirely. And when you do that, nothing in your life is going to fall apart immediately. So therefore you think it's harmless. But the truth is, your new identity that you've been working towards is now slowly eroding. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens through what I'll call quiet impatience. You lower your standards and your timeline becomes emotional. So what I mean by that is like, I have to have it now. Why isn't it happening now? From there, trust in the process is now replaced with urgency. Eventually, the person that you were becoming never fully arrives. And the real cost isn't just failure. Failure is miniature compared to the real cost, because the real cost is becoming somebody who only believes in themselves when outcomes cooperate. That is called conditional identity, where you require proof to remain committed to who you said you were becoming. And what that does is that creates adults who are constantly restarting, rebranding, recommitting, always almost there and never arriving. Patience isn't waiting. Patience is unconditional commitment without a timeline. It's continuing to live at a higher standard even when there's no evidence yet. It's trusting that alignment compounds invisibly before it compounds visibly. People think patience means passivity, but patient means you stop negotiating with reality. You don't rush the process. You don't resent the process. You don't need reassurance from the process. You become somebody who can have uncertainty without abandoning your standards. And this is why key number 11, patience, comes after everything else. Because without responsibility, patience becomes avoidance. Without self-awareness, patience just becomes passive endurance. Without discipline, patience becomes inconsistency. And without standards, patience just becomes settling. But when keys 1 through 10 are lived, patience actually becomes power, because that's what allows your new identity to take root. It's what gives you confidence in the process. It's what separates people who change temporarily from people who change permanently. Most people fail because they demand proof before identity finishes forming. The process was working, they just left early. If you can do the right things without rushing the outcome, without bargaining with time, without emotionally auditing your progress, you don't just improve your life, you become someone whose life has to improve eventually. And that's the final key to not only becoming the best version of yourself, but to achieve anything that you want. If you're serious about staying in this process instead of restarting it, I put together a free 5-day rebuild. And it's not about doing more. It's about making that new identity stick. It's linked below.